Okay, class, if you're watching this, this means you have actually tried to work it yourself. If your paper is blank, press stop, pause, and actually try it so that you can come back and look and see if you make agreement with your work. So we are given the point -2, 4. We'll call that x sub 1, y sub 1. And we're given an equation of the line for y equals 2x minus 2. So we need to get a perpendicular equation. So here I see that the original m is worth 2. So the perpendicular m is the opposite reciprocal. 2 wholes really means 2 over 1. So when I flip that, I'm going to have 1/2, and I need the opposite sign. So I'm going to make that negative. So now I have a perpendicular slope of -1/2. I will use that in the point slope formula. Y minus y sub 1 equals m times the quantity x minus x sub 1. I will use my x sub 1, y sub 1 point, and I will use my perpendicular slope in the m position. So y minus 4 equals -1/2 quantity x minus -2. Since I'm taking away a negative, I can go ahead and change that to addition. So now I want to go ahead and distribute this -1/2 through to both terms. So y minus 4 equals -1/2 x minus 1. I'm going to add that 4 to both sides. So y equals -1/2 x plus 3. We also said that we're going to be rounding to the nearest hundredth, so we don't really need to leave that as a fraction. So I can change that to -0.5x plus 3, because that might make it a little bit easier to work with. Okay, so now I have that equation of the line. I've got to make a note of it because I've got to switch my slide. Okay, so slide 2. All right, so now we have the equation, the original equation, y equals 2x minus 2. And we just created the equation y equals -0.5x plus 3. This is a system of equations. There's a point where they will intersect because they're not parallel lines. So we need to determine where they will intersect. That means I need to eliminate a variable. I can eliminate the y, or I can eliminate the x. When I look at the x's, I see that they have different coefficients, so I'd have to multiply through by something to make that work. But I see that I have one y, or just y for each one, so I know that I can eliminate the y in the second equation if I subtract the entire equation. That means I am distributing this negative using that distributive property. So y minus y is 0. 2x minus -0.5x is 2.5x. And -2 minus 3 is -5. So I just want to solve for x, so I'm going to add that 5 over here to this side. So 5 equals 2.5x. Divide through by that 2.5 to both sides, and I know that x equals 2. I need to find the value of y, so I'm just going to use that original equation, that y equals 2x minus 2, and plug in a 2 in the x position. So if y equals 2 times 2 is 4, 4 minus 2 is 2. So I get y equals 2. So my intersection coordinates are 2, 2. So this is now my x sub 2, y sub 2. Now I have 2 points. Let's go to the next slide. I had the original point on the line of -2, 4. And I just discovered that the intersection point is at 2, 2. That's x sub 1, y sub 1. The next point is x sub 2, y sub 2. And I'm going to use the distance formula. The distance formula is in your notes, and you should have it memorized. So it's the difference in x values, quantity squared, plus the difference in y values, quantity squared. So that becomes 4. 4 squared is 16. Here I have -2. -2 squared is 4. So I'm at the square root of 20, if I'm doing this correctly. Grab a calculator. I know a lot of you do go ahead and just plug it all the way into your calculator. And I'm getting a distance of approximately 4.47 units. So unless I've made a mistake along the way, and if I have, feel free to message me back and I can double check it. But these are the steps I'm looking for. You need to do problems 2 and problems 3.